All right, last week I went over the sound comparison between these two guitars, and in this video I wanted to go into a little more detail on why this one's $10,000 and this one's about $100, and what do you get for having such a big difference in price? Now, the biggest thing between these two guitars is obviously going to be the sound and the way that the guitar responds. Now, some of the things that you get whenever you buy a handcraft guitar versus a mass-produced guitar, you're going to be able to get a variety of sounds out of that guitar. So if you want to play closer to the bridge, you're going to sound a lot brighter on the handcrafted guitar versus the mass-produced guitar. And you're going to have a wider range of sounds that you can make out of the guitar. Whenever I played the strong wind, no matter how far I went to the bridge or above the sound hole, the sound didn't change as much as it did from my handcrafted guitar. And the tuners. Don't get me started on the tuners. The tuners on the Strongway just didn't hold the strings in tune at all. They're always slipping. They're so hard to turn, and when you do turn it, it doesn't seem like it's changing the pitch at all. So the tuners are probably the first thing to go whenever you're trying to get a more affordable guitar. So you can replace those, but if you're going to be getting a guitar that's a couple $100 and tuners that cost about the same, it doesn't really make sense. So, and my guitar is just so much easier to play compared to the strong wind. You don't have to press as hard on the guitar to get a good tone out of the left hand. But whenever you're plucking on the strings, the guitar is just so much more responsive. You can push the dynamics a lot further whenever you're comparing a manufactured guitar versus a handcrafted guitar. Now, on my guitar specifically, it does have a raised neck. This makes it a lot easier to play on the higher frets. So if you're going to be barring something on the 12th fret or anything higher, it just makes it a lot easier to play those things. Now, that doesn't mean you can't do it, because I mean, guitars have been made without a raised neck for so many years. So it can be done, but it just makes it a little bit easier. And if you're going to be doing this as a profession, you want to make it as easier as possible. Now, one thing that you can get from a handcrafted guitar is you can get another sound hole. So obviously everyone knows about the sound hole on the soundboard of the guitar, but you can also get one or on both sides of the sides of the guitar. So whenever you're playing, instead of the sound projecting outwards to the audience, and it's a little bit harder for you to hear, the sound will actually escape closer to your ear, so you can kind of get a better idea of what you're playing. So you can make better decisions based on the piece that you're playing or the hall that you're playing in. Now, with those, you kind of have to be careful, because I have noticed if you are playing somewhere with low ceilings, that the sound does kind of bounce off the ceilings a little bit, and you can get kind of this weird reverb effect whenever playing in certain locations. So that's something that you have to consider. But you can get like a cover that goes on top of it to prevent the sound from escaping that way. I had a lot of interesting comments on that last video that I posted, and some of you heard a difference between the expensive guitar and the cheap guitar, and some of you didn't, which I was also very surprised on how well that cheaper guitar recorded. I don't know. It sounded really good in the recording, but there are also a lot of big differences between just the sound in the guitar. Just because you have a sound comparison video doesn't mean that the cheap guitar is going to be so much better. And there's a reason why you're paying so much money for a, I guess, pro level guitar. The first one, obviously, is going to be sound. The thing that kind of stands out between two different guitars is really subjective. Everyone plays the guitar differently. Every guitar that you play is going to sound different. It's going to feel different. One guitar is going to be a lot easier to play versus another. And these things are all just really subjective. If you have multiple people comparing guitars, they're all going to have something different to say. So really, in the end, my recommendation is to just go to some kind of festival like the GFA, or find a local dealer or a luthier in your area and just try out as many guitars as you possibly can. Now, I'm curious, what kind of things do you consider whenever you buy a guitar? Is it just sound alone? Is it playability? Is it the looks? Does it have any of these newer features that you can get on the guitar? I don't know, maybe I might do a video on that later. But I'm really curious. Leave your comments down below, and I'd really like to check it out. Well, that's it for me. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I'll leave all my links down in the description below, and I'll see you next time. Peace.